look at that. Lucas Di Grassi under pressure from Buemi. Buemi hits Di Grassi and he wins the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship.
Hello guys, do you know what the hard and fast rules are when watching Formula E? If not, you are in the right place. Here's how to race, win or lose. The FIA World Championships are subjected to strict rules and regulations much like any other sport. So, there are several regulations to follow, ranging from the International Sporting Code to confirming the car's technical legalities. Here are some essential details to be aware of before the Formula E World Championships Season 10 kicks off. Did you know that only 7% of you have subscribed to the channel so far? So hurry up and click the subscribe button below before we proceed. First, let's take a look at the championship and standings. There are two distinct titles in the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. One is devoted to the drivers and the other to the teams. The driver with the most points at the end of the season wins the Drivers' World Championship. The total points scored by each team's driver combination throughout the campaign determines the team's World Championship. In an event of a tie at the end of the season, the driver with the most race victories will receive the higher position in the championship. The number of second places, third places, and so on are considered until a winner is determined if the number of first places are equal. If this process is unsuccessful, the winner is nominated by the FIA based on any criteria it deems appropriate. When we take a look at the point system, Formula E also follows the standard point system that awards points to the top 10 finishers, like in all other FIA sanctioned series. So here you can see how the points are awarded depending on the finishing position. 25 points to the first place, 18 to the second, 15 to the third, so on. Additional points are also awarded. 3 championship points for securing pole position and 1 championship point for the fastest lap in the race. However, the driver must finish in the top 10 places at the end of the race to be awarded the extra point for the fastest lap. In the unlikely event that the planned race distance cannot be completed, for example, because of severe weather or an incident, points will be given based on predetermined standards. The leader completes fewer than 2 laps, no points will be granted. Additionally, no points will be granted unless the leader completes a minimum of 2 laps without the assistance of a safety car or full course yellow intervention. The leader has completed more than 2 laps but less than 70% of the initial race distance, half points will be given. Ultimately, if the leader has covered at least 75% of the initial race distance, they will receive full points. Pretty fair, huh? Attending the FIA prize giving ceremony is mandatory if you are among the top 3 drivers in the Drivers' World Championship at the end of the year. Attendance is also required of the winning team's team principal. A punishment of up to 50,000 euros might be imposed for failure to comply. Now, let's look at the penalties. You must behave well as a driver and a team to avoid penalties. Any number of actions, such as creating an accident, forcing another driver off the track, or breaking the rules, can lead to an investigation and eventually punishment. The FIA stewards are the group of people who determine whether or not to penalize drivers or teams for an incident based on reports or requests made by the race director. Depending on the offense, they can impose any of these on a driver. 5-second penalty time, 10-second penalty time, drive-through penalty, 10-second stop and go time penalty. When we look at 5-second and 10-second time penalties, before doing any work on their car, a driver must wait at least 5 seconds in their current position after entering the pit stop. The driver in question will lose 5 seconds from their total race time if they don't make any more pit stops before the finish. To be clear, in each of those instances, the driver in question will have to serve the penalty the next time they enter the pit lane. This also applies to any stops the driver makes when a safety car or FCY in operation. Next up is the drive-through penalty. The driver must enter the pit lane and rejoin the race without stopping. Then there is 10 seconds stop and go time penalty. The driver must enter the pit lane, stop at his pit stop for at least 10 seconds and then rejoin the race. The stewards have the authority to give a driver a grid penalty for their subsequent race if any of the 4 penalties listed above are applied to a driver who finishes outside of the top 10 or if the driver retires from the race before serving that penalty. Additionally, at their next competition, a driver may get a warning, time penalty, cancellation of lap times or a drop of any number of grid positions. They might also be disqualified, forced to start from the pits or prohibited from competing in the driver's subsequent race. That's it about penalties. Next, let's talk about e-licenses. Can you drive a Formula E car with your license? No, you can't. You need a separate e-license for that. Just like a driving license for the road, Formula E drivers must hold current and valid licenses. Drivers must complete a specific FIA training session focusing on electrical safety, specifics of the completely electric Formula E car, and a review of the series' technical and sporting characters to obtain this license. In addition, to be eligible for a super license, they must have obtained at least 20 points using the FIA point system within the previous 3 years. If not, they must have held a super license in the past or taken part in a minimum of 3 FIA Formula E World Championship events. The defending champion, Andretti's Jake Dennis, automatically qualifies for a super license in the coming year. If these points aren't met, the driver judged by the FIA to have continuously demonstrated outstanding ability in single-seater categories but with little or no opportunity to qualify can still participate. Even those who are participating in a free practice session must hold one of the e-licenses. Drivers can also pick up penalty points on their e-licenses. If they get up to 12 penalty points, their license will be suspended for a following event, following which the 12 points will be removed from their e-license. Penalty points will remain on the driver's e-license for 12 months, after which they will be respectively removed on the 12-month anniversary of their imposition. Then there are the tires and allocations. Throughout the competition, only the custom 18-inch Hankook all-weather tires supplied by the FIA appointed supplier must be used. Drivers are limited to using no more than 4 new rear tires, 4 new front all-weather tires of the same specification at each race. Each driver may utilize a maximum of 6 new all-weather tires, 6 new on the front and 6 new on the rear during double-header events. Every tire needs to be precisely the same. It is forbidden to alter or treat the tires in a way including cutting, grooving, scrubbing in, applying solvents or softeners, installing mechanical or electrical temperature conditioners such as heat retaining devices or preheating. Removing the pickup rubber from the tires is also not allowed. That's it guys for this video. Hope you got at least an idea about the rules and regulations of the Formula E Championship. Until we meet through next video, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified. Goodbye.